Why do they seem fully present one moment and distant the next? You can feel the closeness building, the warmth between you growing stronger, and then without warning, they retreat. It's confusing and painful, like being left mid-sentence. You replay every moment, wondering what you said or did wrong. But what if their distance isn't rejection at all, but fear? What if they're not running from you, but from the vulnerability that closeness awakens? When someone starts to pull away right after connection deepens, it often isn't because they've lost interest. It's because emotional intimacy feels unsafe to their nervous system. Their body reads closeness the same way yours might read distance, as danger. For people with avoidant attachment tendencies, love can trigger an old protective reflex. The closer they get, the louder the internal alarm becomes. To survive emotionally, they learned to regulate through space. It's like their heart has a thermostat. When warmth rises too high, it automatically turns down to prevent overheating. They're not trying to hurt you, they're trying to stay safe. Let's pause for a second. This can be hard to believe when you're on the receiving end. You might think if they cared, they'd stay. But avoidance doesn't mean lack of care. It means the closeness itself feels threatening. In childhood, love may have come with conditions, control, or inconsistency. They learned that emotional exposure led to criticism or pressure, so their nervous system made a quiet vow: never need too much, never depend too deeply. As adults, that vow becomes distance. When connection starts feeling real, when someone sees them, needs them, or expects them to show up, their system hits the brakes. And this is where most people get it wrong. They assume distance equals disinterest. But distance can also mean fear. Fear of being consumed, of disappointing someone, of losing autonomy. Avoidant individuals crave love just as much as anyone else. They just experience intimacy as a tug of war between longing and protection. The closer they get, the more they worry about being trapped or hurt. So, they retreat, not to end the bond, but to find their footing inside it. You've probably seen this pattern before. Maybe they text constantly for weeks, then suddenly take hours or days to reply. Maybe after a romantic weekend, they say they need space. Or maybe they seem fully engaged until you express a deeper emotion, and then they shift into humor, distraction, or withdrawal. To you, it feels like whiplash. To them, it feels like survival. Their nervous system associates intensity with risk, so when the relationship deepens, they instinctively pull back to regain control. Let's slow down for a moment. Notice how your body reacts when someone you care about grows distant. Maybe your stomach tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, your mind races. That's your own attachment system activating, the anxious mirror to their avoidance. You might feel an urge to reach out, to fix it, to chase the connection that suddenly feels fragile. But chasing rarely brings them closer. It usually sends them further away because your anxiety amplifies their fear. It's an emotional dance. One moves forward to feel safe. The other steps back to feel safe. Both are protecting themselves in different languages. If you've ever been in that dance, you know the ache it creates. You try to bridge the gap with reassurance, affection, or understanding, but the more you give, the more they seem to retreat. You might start questioning your worth, wondering if you're too much. Yet the truth is, you're not too much. You're simply reaching for safety while they're trying to hold on to it. Both needs are valid, but they collide when fear runs the show. Avoidant distance isn't personal. It's a reflex wired long before you arrived. A learned pattern that mistakes intimacy for danger. Understanding that can soften the sting. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you begin asking, "What might feel unsafe for them right now?" That question shifts the dynamic from panic to curiosity. You're not excusing their behavior, You're interpreting it through empathy. Keep that thought for a moment. When you can see their withdrawal as a fear response, not a rejection, something subtle changes inside you. Your anxiety loosens its grip. You stop chasing and start observing. You begin to understand that emotional closeness triggers different alarms for different people. For you, silence feels unsafe. For them, intimacy does. Both of you are trying to breathe. Keep that awareness in mind for a moment, because this is where healing begins. When you can see the distance for what it really is, not what your fear tells you it means. It's easy to assume that when someone pulls away, it's proof that you've done something wrong. But often, it's not about fault at all. It's about rhythm. Two people can want love in completely different ways. One feels safe moving closer, while the other feels safe stepping back. And the moment those rhythms collide, misunderstanding fills the space between them. Think about how this plays out in everyday life. Maybe you're having a deep conversation, and just when you start to feel truly connected, they grow quiet or make a joke to lighten the mood. Maybe after an affectionate night, they seem distant the next morning, acting like nothing meaningful happened. Or maybe you start noticing small shifts. Slower replies, less eye contact, more time spent alone. And your body senses the change before your mind can explain it. That subtle shift is what sets your nervous system on high alert. Have you ever noticed that when someone you care about grows quiet, your body reacts faster than your thoughts? Your heart speeds up, your shoulders tense, your brain starts writing stories to explain the silence. This is your attachment system trying to predict danger before it happens. It remembers the moments in your past when closeness disappeared without warning, and it's trying to make sure you're not caught off guard again. Let's pause for a second. Take a slow breath. Unclench your jaw if you can. The instinct to chase, to fix, to close the distance right away. That's your body saying, I can't relax until I feel safe again. But what if the safety you're chasing can be built inside you, not just between you? Here's the truth. When someone with avoidant tendencies pulls away, your reaction often determines whether the connection repairs or ruptures. If you chase them, they feel smothered. If you withdraw in return, they feel justified in staying distant. But if you can hold steady, neither chasing nor retreating, you create something new. You model what emotional safety looks like. You show that closeness doesn't have to mean loss of freedom, and space doesn't have to mean rejection. That steadiness starts with awareness. The next time someone's energy shifts, instead of rushing to fill the silence, notice your body first. Maybe place a hand over your chest. Feel the warmth there, breathe into it. Say to yourself, this is my fear of disconnection showing up. Naming it out loud helps your nervous system separate the present from the past. You remind your body, this isn't the same loss it once feared. And this is where most people get it wrong. They try to control the other person's reaction instead of calming their own. You can't force someone to stay open if their system believes closeness is unsafe. What you can do is hold a grounded presence that makes safety feel possible again. Love can't grow inside panic, but it can grow inside steadiness. Have you ever noticed that when you stop trying to fix things immediately, people sometimes return on their own? When you stop matching their fear, it gives them permission to regulate theirs. Avoidant people aren't allergic to intimacy. They just need to trust that it won't cost them their autonomy. And you, on the other hand, need to trust that space doesn't mean disappearance. Let's slow down again. Notice how both fears mirror each other. They pull away because they fear losing themselves. You reach forward because you fear losing them. Both of you are saying the same thing in different ways. I'm scared I won't be safe in love. That awareness can dissolve so much blame. You start seeing two nervous systems trying to survive, not two people trying to hurt each other. In that awareness, you can begin practicing what psychologists call secure energy. Not reactive, not controlling, just calm. Secure energy says, I can love you and still feel okay if you need space. It's not indifference, it's self-trust. And ironically, that calm presence is what makes avoidant partners feel safe enough to come closer. They sense you're not trying. To pull them in, you're simply standing still, open, and consistent. Keep that in your mind for a moment, because when you embody that steadiness, love begins to shift from a tug-of-war into a gentle rhythm. You stop fearing their distance and start trusting your own center. That steadiness becomes your anchor. When you can stay present without chasing, you send a different message to both your body and theirs. One that says, we can be close without losing ourselves. Avoidant partners often expect that love will mean demand, pressure, or control. But when you remain grounded and self-contained, you quietly prove the opposite. You show that love can breathe. And when love can breathe, fear has less room to grow. Here's the truth. Real closeness can't exist without space. It needs oxygen, pauses, and trust. The people who pull away aren't broken. They're just used to managing their emotions alone. Their withdrawal is the only way they know to self-regulate. But your task isn't to fix that reflex. It's to build enough inner stability that their distance doesn't unbalance you. That's how relationships move from reactive to responsive, when one person's fear doesn't have to trigger the others. Let's pause for a moment. Take one steady breath. Notice your shoulders and unclench your hands if they've tightened. What you're doing right now, staying present inside discomfort, is exactly what breaks the anxious-avoidant cycle. You're teaching your nervous system that uncertainty doesn't always mean loss, that you can feel the ache of someone's space and still remain whole. When they retreat, it's natural to feel the impulse to reach out, to repair, to make sure the connection isn't slipping away. But before acting, try a small grounding practice. Breathe in and count to 4. Breathe out and count to 6. Feel your feet on the ground. Remind yourself, this moment doesn't define my worth. Doing this even once begins to rewire the body's pattern of panic. Over time, you learn that space can exist without abandonment, and love can stretch without breaking. The second practice is emotional naming. When you sense them pulling back, say internally, I feel anxious because I value this connection. That simple naming helps you recognize that fear and love are happening together. You're not crazy for feeling both. You're human. You can even whisper to yourself, I can handle the pause. That phrase becomes a bridge between your old fear and your new calm. And then there's reframing. Instead of thinking, they're disappearing, try, they're regulating. Instead of, they don't care, consider, they're scared. You're not excusing behavior that hurts you, you're seeing the deeper truth underneath it. When you view their withdrawal as protection rather than punishment, you free yourself from the cycle of blame. You start leading with empathy instead of defense, and that changes everything. Sometimes they'll come back on their own, quieter, softer, ready to reconnect. When they do, notice how your instinct might still be to test them, to make sure they're really here. Instead, breathe and stay open. Let your steadiness show that you can hold closeness without clinging. Over time, that stability becomes contagious. Their body learns what yours already knows. That safety doesn't mean distance, and love doesn't have to disappear to survive. Let's slow down again. Think of connection like a dance floor. One person steps forward, the other steps back, not out of rejection, but rhythm. The goal isn't to match every move, but to stay attuned to the music. When you learn to hold your own balance, you stop stumbling when they step away. You wait, breathe, and move again when the rhythm calls. That's the art of emotional steadiness, trusting the pause between steps. You're not overreacting for wanting closeness. You're simply someone whose body learned that love feels safest when it's consistent. And you're not naive for staying open. The world needs people who keep showing that vulnerability doesn't have to equal danger. Healing happens when both sides learn that safety and connection can exist at the same time. One person grounded, the other slowly learning to trust it. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which part of this message felt most like you? When someone starts to pull away, do you usually chase, freeze, or quietly pull back too?